Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Police will conduct an investigation on the cyberbullying of racist status towards country women singles badminton player S. Skisona, made by the Vice Chief of the Parti Peribumi Bersatu Malaysia Bersatu Pasir Putih Divisions, Burhanuddin Syarahim, via a post on Facebook last Friday. Home Minister Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said a detailed investigation from various angles will be conducted in accordance with Section 504 of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communication and Multimedia Act CMA 1998 following police reports received nationwide on the issue. In an interview conducted, Aski Sona was devastated and cried in response to the hate that she received. That's all for this afternoon. Muhammad Nakidin bin Muhammad Zaini, UITM.
Sometimes the truth hurts more than the lie.
Cyberbullying has been a cancer in our society. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello. We are from Codebyte. We would like to present our case study in cyberbullying. Before we begin, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Muhammad Nakidin bin Muhammad Zaini with my fellow teammates.
My name is Muhammad Haikal Aizat bin Ahmad Fazli.
My name is Muhammad Firazwan bin Muhammad Razi.
And my name is Muhammad Hakim bin Muhammad Aminuddin.
In this presentation video, there are 5 subtopics that we're going to highlight in these presentations. So let's begin. Hello, so today I will begin our presentation with issues identifications. Our lives are evolving with information and communication technology, which is known as ICT. We are adapting to a new shift that is reducing the digital divide in terms of communication, socializing virtually, accessing knowledge, and also attaining education. But this is rather disappointing as this technology that planned to be used to ease human workload and everyday life were used wrongly. Next. Many articles that were published online or published in newspaper about cyberbullying has been a worry to our society. Cyberbullying has been a cancer in our society as these articles proves that cyberbullying remains in our society. So before we go further to analyze the impacts and the solutions of these issues, we have to first understand what is cyberbullying. Next. According to UNICEF, cyberbullying is a bullying with the use of digital technologies. It can take place on social media, messaging platforms, gaming platforms, and mobile phones. It is repeated behavior aimed at scaring, angering, and shaming those who are targeted. So these are examples of cyberbullying that often occurs in our society. So first, as we can see, spreading lies about posting and embarrassing photos of someone on social media. Second, sending hurtful messages or threats via messaging platforms. Impersonating someone and sending mean messages to others on their behalf is also a part of examples of cyberbullying. Next. And according to a book written by Chadwick in 2014, in a book the book title is Impacts of Cyberbullying, Building Social and Emotional Resilience in Schools. There are 8 types of cyberbullying. First is harassment, which is sending offensive, rude, and insulting message about someone. Denigration, which is distributing information about another person, which is derogatory and untrue through posting it online. Flaming, online fighting or intense argument online in angry way using vulgar languages and inappropriate symbols. Impersonation, which is using others' person identity online and post inappropriate material. Masquerading, pretending to be someone else by creating a fake account. Pseudonyms, which is using an alias or nickname to keep their identity secrets. Outing and trickery, which is public display or forward personal communication such as someone's secrets or embarrassing information or trick someone to reveal it. And last but not least is cyber stalking. Next. So cyberbullying happened to all kind of different ages, different group ages. So according to a study, the most targeted percent of the most targeted age groups that has been has been bullied in the cyber, which is from 13 to 15 years old, with 31.3%. The reasons for cyberbullying also being published by Ditch the Label, which we can see that most of the cyberbullying happen because of their appearances, and next, interests and hobbies, good academic performance, household income, poor academic performance, family issues, and also perceived masculinity or femininity. These are the reasons of cyberbullying, and the most rampant form of cyberbullying is the offensive name calling. Others include spreading false rumors, getting explicit photos they didn't ask for, constant stalking by strangers, physical threats, people sharing explicit image without their consent, and these are the issues that happen in our country and also worldwide. These issues is not only a cancer in our society, but it's a cancer that being a burden in worldwide. So next. Fun fact, a little fact, Malaysia ranks second in cyberbullying among Asian countries with 71% rating of social media bullying. The study is being done by the Ipsos Global Advisor Cyberbullying Studies. So this shows that how critical it is how critical it is and how dangerous it is Malaysia in cyberbullying. Next. So let's go deeper. Let's dig deeper about cyberbullying in Malaysia. So according to Professor Madya Dr. Mazniza Muhammad, Associate Professor at Faculty of Information Science and Technology, she said that cyberbullying has increased in Malaysia approximately 70% in pandemic since restrictions on movement and social activities limits individuals that the confines of their own homes and devices. This is the increasing of cyberbullying is because people are being locked down in their house, so they have their more time on in their home and spending much more time on their devices. So according to a study as well, a study conducted by Malaysia U Report, which have gathered 6,795 respondents from all over Malaysia, which shows that cyberbullying happened in the most awkward place of cyberbullying is in social networks such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and as such, as I mentioned, as we mentioned in earlier, as it was shown in in the beginning, our national badminton player SK Sona has been cyberbullied by our own politicians. This is really saddening, and it is more saddening and disappointing as most Malaysians don't know any helpline that can help them to overcome cyberbullying. So as you can see here, in the charts, most of the nations with 64% from the respondents, they don't know how to overcome cyberbullying or any helpline that they can call in order to defeat this cancer. It is really alarming. As this data shows that cyberbullying has really plays major roles and issues in our society. And according to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF itself, said 3 out of 10 young Malaysians have been victims of cyberbullies in the country. Youth are the highest numbers of victims in Malaysia cyberbullying cases. Thus, this shows that how cyberbullying has been an issue inside our country for decades, and it should be taken seriously, and it should not be taken lightly. That's all for subtopic 1. The impact analysis. So in this slide, we will identify what is the impact of cyberbullying towards individual. So next. In an article, in a suicide note that were written by this young girl, she said that because of me, you all get shamed, and I'm sorry. This is so heartbreaking and show how outrage cyberbullying has been going in Malaysia. This issue has been again big issues that we should not be taken lightly. Next. So for impact analysis, I have divided impact analysis towards three phases, which is mental impacts, behavioral impacts, and also physical impacts. So let's begin with the mental impact. Low self-esteem. Cyberbullying often zeroes in on what already makes victims feel most vulnerable. For example, maybe a child who feels insecure but a birthmark ends up being bullied just because of that. And according to a study, people who experience cyberbullying, both as a victim and as an offender, had significantly lower self-esteem than those who had little or no experience with cyberbullying, which a study conducted by Park Chin and Hinduja in 2010. So next, cyberbullying causes depression among the one who being bullied. Victims of cyberbullying may succumb into depressions and other stress-related conditions. These depressions, and according to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry last week, cyberbullying is exacerbated symptoms of depressions. Furthermore, 10 studies examined the link between social media victim victimizations and depression, and all of them found a connection between it. So it shows that it leads to depression. Next, we go on to suicidal inclinations, suicidal thoughts, and self-harms. Sometimes targets of cyberbullying respond to their intense feelings by harming themselves in some way. For instance, some might engage in self-harm as cutting and burning themselves. In fact, 75% of adolescents who experience cyberbullying presented with higher suicidal ideations than those who have experienced verbal bullying. And last but not least, anxiety. In a study run by Duke University, researchers found that people who were bullied were more likely to have increased rate of an anxiety disorder and panic disorder. This study concluded that experienced bullying, especially cyberbullying, has a lasting impact on mental health outcomes. Next, impact analysis on behavioral and physical impacts. First, we go to using drugs or alcohol. According to a research done, people who are harassed online are more likely to engage in substance abuse. In fact, one study found out that targets of cyberbullying were 2.5 times more likely to use marijuana or engage in binge drinking than their peers. This shows that how cyberbullying may affect their behavioral as well. Next, the physical impacts. First, we go to gastrointestinal issues. The stress of bullying also can cause or worsen conditions like upset stomach, abdominal pain, and stomach ulcers. Kids may also struggle with frequent nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. This impact, we say that it is because from long-term impact. Next, we go to eating disorder. Kids who are cyberbullied may experience changes in eating habits like skipping meals or binge eating. Because their lives feels out of control, they look to their eating pattern as something they can control. These efforts may morph into a full-blown eating disorder, especially if the bullying has caused a distorted body image. Like just now, the cyberbully examples of bullying, which is someone body shaming. A body shaming issues may lead to eating disorder. So last but not least, the impact analysis on physical sleep disturbance. Experiencing cyberbullying can impact a person's sleep patterns. They may suffer from sleep issues like insomnia, sleeping more than usual, or nightmares. People who are cyberbullied may display the same behavior changes as those who are bullied in more traditional ways. For example, they exhibit a loss of interest in activities and engage in secretive behavior. In extreme cases, or when cyberbullying is prolonged, kids or whoever has been bullied sometimes even exhibit more significant behavioral and physical changes. This can include these impacts. Next. In a conclusion, this impact can be seen through utilitarianism's ethical theories. For these ethical theories, the pleasure is measured with positive number while the pain as the negative number. Thus, we can conclude that from these ethical theories, the impact of cyberbullying is the impact of cyberbullying, we can conclude that the action is bad as the sum is negative, which cause more pain than pleasure. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Izzat. I will present about the Code of Ethics. Okay, next. Malaysian law relating to the media social. So far, there are several laws in Malaysia that apply to regulate the use of social media that has been enacted by Parliament of Malaysia, such as the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998, Computer Crime Act 1997, Sedition Act 1948, Act Defamation 1957, Act 286, as well as the Penal Code Act 574. Okay, next. Okay. Next, law section 211 and section 233 of the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. It is under Communication and Multimedia Act 1988 and 588. Okay. This is about the malicious content on the internet with intent to annoy, provoke, abuse, threaten, or harass another person. Section 211, which is the prohibition on the provision of obscene content, and Section 233, which is the improper use of network facility or network service. 2 and 1 faculty will be punishable by a fine not exceeding of Rm 50,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 1 year or both. Next, Section 233 of the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. It is spread into two parts, which is 233.1a and 233.1b, which is 233.1a1, someone who by using any network facility or network service or application service consequently making, creating, or soliciting, and second, initiate, delivery, any comment, request, suggestion, or other communication that are obscene, indecent, false, threatening, or obscene in nature with intent to hurt, persecute, threaten, or disturb others. Okay, next, 233.1b, which is someone who, by using any network facility or network service or application service, consequently initiate a communication by using any application service, whether continuously, repeatedly, or otherwise, and in that time, communication may or may not happen with or without revealing his identity and with intent to hurt, persecute, threaten, or harass any person at any number of electronic address. Okay, next. Okay, this is example case that happened in Malaysia. For first case is involve obscene statement issue against His Majesty the Malay Sultan or the Malay Royal Institution. Second, sending communication disgusting by editing a picture of the Prime Minister with a woman in a dress, eye-catching on their social site Facebook. That's all for me. Thank you.
Next, Islamic perspective. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Firazwan bin Muhammad Razi, presenter of this subtopic. Next. First of all, based on Al-Quran. Human beings are by nature made by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in different forms, groups, and cultures, and all must accept and respecting that diversity and difference as a natural and a law of nature will continue to apply. Such diversity and difference is not a factor for divisions and hostility or even worse, cyberbullying. In Al-Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, "Human beings, we create you all from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Verily, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the most God-fearing of you. Surely Allah is all-knowing, all-aware." So, Al-Hujurat verse 13. So based on this ayat, we should get to know and help each other so that the peace and prosperity of living together can be achieved. Next. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala insists that ethnic differences cannot be an excuse to deny rights of or differentiate between various ethnicities, as in Surah Al-Ma'idah, which means, "Oh, you will believe who wish to reach Allah and submit to Him. Be upright, maintain the truth for Allah. Be the bearers of witness with justice, and let not resentment towards people inside you not to act justly. Act equitably, that is nearer to piety, in other words, taqwa, and have pity towards Allah. Surely Allah is well acquainted with what you do." Al-Ma'idah verse 8. Next. Islam also advocates respect for the personalities of others and forbids taunting, cursing, or calling with an unwelcome call against other people, like what happened to Eskisona, a politician called her killing in the social media. Thus, everyone needs to preserve and respect personal honor and respect among members of society regardless of religion. This is explained in Surah Al-Hujurat, which means, "Oh, you will have belief, let not a people ridicule people. Perhaps they may be better than them, nor let the woman ridicule woman. Perhaps they may be better than them. And do not insult one another, and do not call each other by offensive nicknames, rash in the name of disobedience after one's faith. And whoever does not repent, then it is those who are the wrongdoers." Al-Hujurat verse 11. Next. We have seen various ayat in Al-Quran. Now we go to the hadith. Based on hadith, Rasulullah SAW emphasized in his last khutbah, "Whoever oppressed dhimmi, which means non-Muslim who are submissive and obedient to Islamic rules, or who made a peace treaty or burden them with what they do not strive for, then I am the one will face it." Muhammad Shams, in his book Dar al-Kutub al-Ilmiyah, 1990, page 255. We can relate this hadith on Kisona incident. Kisona is a national badminton player representing our country, a good citizen, and not against the Muslim. So if we against them or she, Rasulullah himself will face them. That's all from me.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Hakim bin Muhammad Mindin, and I will present the last subtopic, which is the solution to prevent cyberbullying. Okay, next. There are a few solutions or actions that can be taken to prevent cyberbullying, which is create video awareness of cyberbully, screenshot the act of behavior of the cyberbully. Parents need to monitor their children, and lastly, stop word in every social media. Okay, next. For the first solution, which is to screenshot the act of cyberbully, just like what had been shown in the picture. In the picture, there is one person do the cyberbully, which is racism towards a woman national badminton player named Kisona. Since Kisona doesn't perform during Thomas Cup, he mentioned India and say bad words to Kisona in Facebook. And then people, especially the victim of cyberbully, can screenshot what the bully have said towards them as the evidence that they can show to the police to take further action. The cyberbully can be the bully can be punished by prescribed law, just like have been mentioned in Surah Al-Hujurat, 12th verse, which means we as a human being doesn't need to find deficiency of others people. Okay, next. Okay, by creating video awareness of cyberbully. According to the statistic of cyberbully, 41% of people who were cyberbullied developed a social anxiety and 37 of them developed depression, while 26% even had suicidal thought. We can see that it is serious issue with a statistic like that. So by create a video about cyberbully, people will be aware of how serious cyberbully is, since it can cause suicide. According to Surah Al-Isra, 7 verse, if you do good, then the benefit of the good you do is for yourself. For example, if we create video awareness of cyberbully, then not just us, but others people also get benefit where the case of cyberbully is not much. Okay, next. Other than that, parents also play an important role in preventing cyberbully. Parents need to always monitoring their children behavior and take care of them. Since parent is the closest person for the children, they need to know whether their children is okay or not, or even sad or not. If parents can sense negative vibes such as their children suddenly quiet and crying or something, they need to ask them or can check their phone whether their children is one of the victim of cyberbully, such as being ridiculed by their friend. With having an application that can monitor or see text of other phone, such as their children phone, parents can easily monitor and give positive vibe or calm down their children if their children are the victim of a cyberbully. From Sahih Muslim, Prophet Muhammad SAW have said that the person who cares about his own brother will surely get a great reward and good reward from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Okay, next. Last but not least, suggest every social media have a stop word if it detects some bad words such as racism and many more. First, it will give a warning to the user if they type unpleasant words like swearing to other people. This will make they think twice before typing something and send it to others. Imam Al Nawawi quote the words of Al Imam Shafi'i that if a person want to say something, they need to think first, especially if it seems to give harm to others. Just like I mentioned that many victims of cyberbullying have a thought of suicide. Okay, that's all from me.
We already reached the conclusion of cyberbullying. Based on this case study, the research that has been provided in this case study, it is clear that cyberbullying can have lasting, detrimental impacts on the victim's mental health. Cyberbullying can take significant toll on its victim by impacting their social life, their mental health, and their behavioral physicals. It comes at little to no surprise the mental health impact that cyberbullying can have when it's realized that this is one of the type of bullying the victims can run away from it. Cyberbullying, irrespective of preventive measures, continues to exist in 2020 and 2021, and further, even in the future. Noticing the sign, communicating, and reassuring the cyberbullying victims of their worth and safety can help to prevent this in the long run. And also, the solutions that we suggested also can help in preventing of cyberbullying. That's all from us. Bye. Thank you so much. These are all of our references that we use in order to research our case study and breaking news. So there are a total of 19 references that we use. That's all from us. Thank you.